Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to use Commons on Canvas. So Commons is a great resource to have. It allows you to do a number of fantastic things with units of work on Canvas and sharing of documentation. You'll find it in the sidebar just down here. To access it, it's just a matter of clicking on the link and you head in. So first off, I'm just going to show you in terms of content. Let's say that you were doing a class and it might have been on muscles of the human body. So you can type in muscles and do a search and then have a look and see if there's anything that might, be useful for your class. So for instance, I might want to take a look at this basic muscles quiz. Okay, it looks like it might be useful as maybe a pre-test or some revision material for my class. So what I can do is I can go into there and I can have a look at the content, the basic questions on the quiz, and I go, yep, all right, this is something I want to use with my students. Before I put it straight into my actual class though, what I would do is I would import it into my sandbox and I'd have a look at it in my sandbox. So you just go to import and then you go down to your sandbox and click on sandbox and you'd import that into course. Now that'll take a minute to do that transfer. But after a minute, that basic muscles quiz will go into your sandbox and you can then preview it properly and have a look at what it does, okay? So we'll go back to that in a moment. So that's the first capability. You can search up any content that people from around the world have shared, and I'd really recommend that people from the college here, if you have a great piece of work, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment, you share it online as well. And that way other people can access it. Now the second button up here, so that's the search function. The second button up here is the content that you've shared personally. So if we click on that, you can see here all of the different things that I've shared. Now, most of these have just been shared over the St. Ignatius College network. So the most recent being the self-capabilities from 7 to 12. So I was then able to utilize that with Hamish for us to be able to push those out to all of the different courses around the school and the blueprints that required those courses. The other thing that you can do here is imported. So anything that I've ever imported into my sandbox to take a look at, that will go into this area. And you can see all the different things that I've taken a look at or imported into a course there. Now updates refers to when you do put a module into a course, if somebody is updating that module, you have the option to continue updating that and looking at that as it moves through. And you can keep that up to date using that function. So for instance, if you share something to the Commons area and you've continued to update it in your course, and it might be something either that you're just using for the school, or it could be a resource that you want everyone to have access to, you can continue updating it and people can keep accessing those updates. And the last thing is the favorites area. So when you're looking in the search area at courses, and you might have searched obviously for those muscles courses that we were talking about earlier, and you've had a look at it, and you like the way that it looks. In the right hand side here, you can click the add to favorites, and when you click that little star there, it will add it to this favorites area, and you can access that at any time if it's something that you might want to go back and look at in the future. All right, so we've done that transfer earlier of the muscles content, and I put it into my sandbox. So I'm just going to go now to the sandbox and show you what's happened there. It's had enough time. Sometimes it takes a few minutes just for that transfer to occur. So we're going into my sandbox. I'm going to go into quizzes. And you can see here, basic muscles. Here's the transfer that I've made earlier. So we can go into that and we can click preview, and we can then have a look at that test or that quiz and see if it is actually going to be relevant, how it works, and go from there, okay? So muscle A, what is muscle A? So you can answer it and go through. And if this is something that works and you think is good, then you might want to then transfer it from your sandbox into a course. You can also edit it. So if you need to make changes, making the changes in your sandbox is the perfect place to do that. Okay, so you would go back and go to keep editing, and you just go through the normal process of editing that quiz, or it could be a full module. You can take full modules from Commons, and you might edit a module, change some of the pages and some of the content within a module, add things that you need, and then once you're happy with it, you can then share it back to Commons. So if I then let's say I've finished editing this now, the process then of adding a unit to Commons is really straightforward. So I'm happy with the unit, and this could be a unit that you've either created yourself, and you just want it added to all of your individual classes. It might not be something that's going onto the blueprint for everyone, although it could be. If that was the case, you would be able to add it to Commons and then add it to the blueprint. So to do that, you just go into the 3 tabs on the side here, and at the bottom it says Share to Commons. So clicking Share to Commons, and from here it gives you the options of where you're going to choose to share that piece of information to. So who can see the resource? Okay, is it an update to a previous or shared resource? That's what I was talking about earlier with the update tabs at the top. In this case, we're not going to tick that. Who can use this resource? Is it only for me, or is it for all of St. Ignatius? Okay, so you're going to choose which one there. So if it's only for me in this case, as I'm just wanting to put it in my own personal classes. Is it a template? Okay, so for this instance, it's just going to be a template or open book textbook. You can choose. That's optional. You don't need to select it. In this case, we're not going to select it because it's not relevant. Copyright license. Okay, you can choose there. If it's got copyrighted information, you would put copyright. And then you title it. Typically for this, I might put the title. I might also put the year level that I'm going to use it for, and maybe the class that I'm going to use it for, so it's easy for me to search for it later on. And I'll just usually copy and paste that into the description as well. Now, for the image, I might just type in sport or something that's relevant for the subject, and then select a relevant image. It doesn't really matter too much what you've got there. And here is the levels that it's going to be accessible for. So we've put level 9 up the top, and we're just going to select that there. And that's what the quiz will then look like, the edited quiz, and then I can click share. From there, that's then been added to the Commons area for me, or for that one is for me because I selected just myself. I didn't use all of St. Ignatius College. But from there, if I wanted to then import that into my Year 9 personal fitness course, I'd click on the import button, and then I'd go down, I'd find my Year 9 personal fitness class, and I would select that. If it was going onto the blueprint, I'd select blueprint. If it's just for that particular class, as just a beginner activity before a module to see where their baseline knowledge is at or something like that, then I might just put it in my own personal course. In most cases, I would say that you're going to use this feature with the blueprint, and then you're going to sync it across via the blueprint. So hopefully that has helped you with the main areas of Commons. It's a fantastic tool. It's really great that you can basically access information from other educators around the world. And you can then look at their resources that they've created and adapt them for our learning needs of our students here at St. Ignatius. I hope you found this quick little tutorial helpful. And if you have any questions about anything, please let me know. Thanks very much. Bye.